black nationalism, right? And of course, Islam. Yeah. They have no idea about that out of the three pillars the stool is sitting on, they have no idea about that other part. And they don't have no Negroes to tell them either. They can't. No Negroes in the FBI and the CIA can say, boss man, when them old time Negroes do this or do that, those people are dead 50 years ago, or longer than that, right? So Allah give you what you need during your time, but who trusts that? Nobody trusts that. That's old coon. That's coonology. Yes, it sure is. That's why it's working. And all your intellectual, we're going to have a divergent view about this black perspective, and that's going to work. It ain't working. Okay? The thick of science fiction, the thick of counter-espionage, the thick of counter-espionage. Okay? This is from 2013. And we always talked about the thick of coincidences and the thick of circumstances. Okay. This is one of the main reasons that we're in the position that we're in. Okay. In closing, I want to mention that we've always maintained certain characteristics that honesty, love, all that stuff. And it don't look like that's what we're practicing. Remember when I was in the hospital and I was sitting there like this and I couldn't figure out the one word to use, optimism. And I kept saying that, optimism. That's of course part of our policy. What is it? Love, optimism,
kindness, and humor.
Humor. Why humor? Humor. I'm going to talk just a little bit about target and targetism. The life of a target. See, when Allah loves you, He gives you a chance to go through all kind of stuff so that life makes a little sense to you. But nobody generally would want to be the target of the system. And that's why we talk about longevity of the target. Targetism, the purpose to encircle, intimidate, isolate, produce depression, loneliness, harass, terrorize, paralyze, systematically terrorize and discourage the target. And they always do that. They did it to Martin Luther King. And they didn't do it to Malcolm, but they was on the way. He hadn't given up, but he said, I'm a walking dead man. You know what I mean? Right. Okay. So, if you get a chance to be the target, you have to use that chance. Okay. It don't make no difference. When people look at the target, they're counting the days. The target's going to be dead in a few weeks. The target, he told the children, or some of the people in the family, we're doing this to keep him alive because if, that girls want to see their father alive. Like your mother wants to see you alive, but your father might want to be free. So your mother is begging, please don't lynch my poor little boy. But the little boy may rather get killed than be still in slavery. But the mother, the character of the woman, is to preserve, to safeguard life. That's her nature. So you look at, anywhere you look, the mother is always pleading for the life of the child or the Negro. A Negro man could plead for himself before the white nigga, you going. But master, just let him live a few more days, let him come home with me, I'll make him be good. And 10% of the time they might get it, okay. So, targetism is to understand when you're a target. And to manipulate, now we didn't use words for this. What is the word we use?
Discombobulate.
Discombobulate, but no, we was just when you domesticate, domesticate. We have used the word domesticated the white man, domesticated the system. When you domesticated anything, you use it for your benefit, right? So the cow gives milk for you. And if there's any left over, the calf can get some. But you're going to milk that cow because you want milk. So the cow going to have to develop the ability to give you enough milk and to give the calves enough milk too. Okay. They would always destroy a target by doing many things. Like whether it's Al Capone, or Negro Joe, or when I came here, it was a nigga had a big name, selling drugs. Rayful Evans. They building up this big. Now they know what they're doing, the nigga is nowhere near that big. Nowhere near that much. Or he wouldn't sell his people out for a bucket of chicken. At least that's what they say that he told law enforcement. That he told the FBI, before I get to talking, I want you to get me a bucket of chicken. So they get the nigga in the penitentiary. And he tells on everybody, the Colombians and everybody, they wouldn't trust no more Negroes after he, you know what I mean? And for them to hook up a connection for you inside the penitentiary, that means they like you. But they don't like Negroes no more because they tell on them. But anyway, now, so let's get to the point. So they inflate, like Billy the Kid, Jesse James, that's the meanest robber in the world history. So when the sheriff catch him, the sheriff is big, right? Because I caught so-and-so. And I was looking at, they making us big, that's big so-and-so. That's what they was doing to me in Oakland. I said, yeah, that's partially true, but blow it up, make you big, and they can arrest you and do anything they want to you. So if he's that big and we do this to him, that means that y'all ain't got a chance. Because this nigga is 15 feet tall and y'all ain't but 2 or 3 feet tall, so you don't have a chance, right? That's the thing about inflating people before you bring them down to make you look big. This is a pattern of government behavior. I'll wrap it up in a minute. So inflate the target, encircle the target, isolate the target, hang in public. That's the reason I ran away from America. I left the country. Because I said, you'll never drag me behind your chariot. You know, I'm the most popular guy in town in California. You ain't gonna drag me behind your chariot, you know. So I run off. You know, I run off, I learned a lesson. When I was in them kiddie jails, I would wind up spending a lot of time, and so would a lot of Negroes. and I would look at the little white boys. They would run away from the jail. And they would go home a year before we would. So it's easy to figure out. Don't sit there and stew like a crab and thing. Just jump up and get out of there and leave. You'll do less time if you run off than if you stay there. No, it was simple. I was watching the little white kids. Man, I was doing the little kitty jails 2 years and all that kind of stuff. And the little white boys do 6 months. He come and he can't stay there, and he run off. Well, if you run off, you throw the system into, it's got to be looking for you, it's got to do this. And if you stay there, all they do is take you over to the hole, beat you upside the head, right? You're staying there, you're taking it, the punishment. So with all that big name, probably if I would have went to the prison when I had that big name, I might have still be in prison now. But after I run off, and then when they see you run off, they treat you different than they do if you don't. They're just going to sit here and take all this punishment. So, hey, I'm telling you, you got to study the system. I'm going to move toward determine when and where to fight. What is it? Learn your enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. What is it? Something like that.
Know your enemy, know yourself.
Know your enemy, know yourself. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. That's all. Okay. I'm going to finish up with era of kindness, gratefulness, and optimism. We're thankful to Allah for all of this. And what we wanted to do in the very beginning, from the very beginning, to archive everything we did. We have been the archives for this. That's why we got all these notes. This is from old notebooks. Archives, documentalists. Nobody chronicled the day-to-day decline, rise and fall of the black movement in America. Nobody ever did that. That's what we've been doing all along. That's why all these are from notebooks from way back. Era of kindness, okay, archivist, documentalist, chronicler, historian. And the last words we want to remind ourselves of, not only longevity, over a long period of time. Willpower, strong-mindedness, fortitude, self-control, self-command, self-mastery, tenaciousness, the ability to hold on. Okay? And remember, you can see it from right here. The training, if you could see right here, it says the training is just a joke. The training, we train to fight for 500 rounds. That's what we train for. Yeah, we've trained for our kind of fight, their kind of fight. And we're way up in those numbers. Look at the stuff we've dealt with over the decades. This must be the 289th round or 389th. We're way up there. Right? We're way up there. Are there any questions and comments about redundancy, the fiqh of redundancy? Throwing the punch out there, throwing it out so sloppy that it got to come over and hit you. That's the fiqh of redundancy. You make the white man hit you where you want him to hit you. You got to give him a target though. That's the fiqh of redundancy. He's been hitting us everywhere we want to get hit. And it ain't hurting nobody. the punches he would throw on anybody else would kill him. Financially, the government been hitting us, been throwing back-breaking blows for decades. And we still running around, jumping up and down. He don't know how much money we got. He don't have any idea. Just like he didn't have no idea back in the dunya. He thought he did, but he never knew. So, he don't know whether we're flat broke or rolling in money. Because for him, money is a sign that you may be coming near the end. It's not a sign for us. It's a sign for toughness. That's why we say be prepared to sleep under a bridge. Well, psychologically, we are right now. When we go back to California, we're prepared to sleep under a bridge. We may drive a car, we may not drive a car. We could catch the bus, we could catch a train, we could almost hitchhike, we can do what we want. Because it's better for him that we have a car so he can follow us properly. Because if we hitchhike, he have to put somebody out there to do it. And we don't, we hitchhike, we can do whatever we want. We don't have to do, we're not bound, because I can run over here, run over there. No, you consolidate your stuff. And then, like imagine, when you ride the subway, the metro, look at all the people you see. If we ride the metro where we're going to go, he's going to have 200 or 300 people following us to make sure that they're all sitting around wherever we're sitting, that they're going and coming. So anybody we talk to, right? It'll be him. But guess what? He can't get everybody in place all the time. He can't do it. So we know what we're dealing with, and we know how he is. He's just a big dummy. If he wasn't a big dummy, he would listen that we've been trying, how long we've been trying to help. Boss man, we just be making fun of you, but you need our help, evidently, but he's not taking it, so bump you, So any questions or comments?
Yes, a couple. Brother asked, or it's kind of it's a question / comment. I can believe, just like in Vietnam, that there is not some American with their hands in the dope trade in Afghanistan and Vietnam. We send back dope to America. As greedy as Americans are, I can't believe some general or lieutenant is not getting rich. What do you think, Brother Imam?
All Americans, Madam knew them in the 60s, in Vietnam. The drug trade, the Golden Triangle.
Right, yeah.
What's the name in the movie? What was that? 2007.
American Gangster.
Yeah.
American Gangster. Who was his connection? The people that was involved with Chiang Kai-shek. Remember, that's what they say. Who is Chiang Kai-shek? Chiang Kai-shek was over in Taiwan, the ruler of China. Okay, now, the United States always, his best ally is always a dope dealer. Always a dope dealer. Whether it's Mexico, Colombia, and all of those people, or Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, the drug production increased 400%, probably 500 or 600, that's what, percent from Afghanistan. And Iran is right next to, so they try to send. I watch a lot of the programs on TV and pay attention when I'm over there. The U.S. always controls the drug trade. It always has. From the time of the British and the Opium War, right? Make a big country weak and destroy it and get them hooked on drugs. Okay, so Afghanistan, you would have to understand the quality of the drugs that they have in Afghanistan. Their main ally used to be Turkey. And the other main ally used to be Iran. What was so popular about them? Before the revolution, that's where drugs came from. They came from Iran and they came from Turkey. Remember what was it, Marseille, the French Connection? Turkey.
And Midnight Express.
Yeah,
Right. Turkey,
Midnight Express.
Turkey, Marseille, France, United States. Okay, Turkey, U.S. ally. Iran during the Shah, U.S. ally. Okay, Vietnam, or the Golden Triangle as they call it, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, all of those U.S. allies. So a U.S. ally, all of the United States could not, do you know how much money they make off of drugs? Good God Almighty. It's unbelievable. You can't count that money. You can't count that. That is the biggest money turnover in the United States is drugs. Nothing turns bigger. Nothing turns bigger in the United States. There's no more money, and all of that money is collected, and all of the big connections, all the big companies. Does anybody remember what happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago down in Colombia? They sent the United States Army down there. Why? Because it was not only the FARC, but the other revolutionary groups was getting into drugs. All of them was getting into drugs. So they started being able to buy the brand new weapons and they started getting rich, the Colombians. So the U.S. sent their troops down there because Colombian troops couldn't take care of the business because they would buy, it's like trying to get a Mexican general to fight the drug trade. The drug